Looks like a lot of people are showing up. Just running a test here. No, it seems kind of boring. How's everybody doing on the first day of the year? Just testing out the software to make sure that I can actually do a restream. Right now I'm working on trying to get things so they're actually understandable. Hey Simon, how's it going? Anybody have any requests while I'm messing around with the chat software? Hey Freddy, sorry I couldn't see you there initially. Couldn't see you there either, Ejin, for a second. Or Engine. Hey Freddy, sorry I couldn't see you there initially. Whoops. Had the sound playing on the other thing there. Does anybody see if Super Chats is on? So does anybody have a board that they want to ask about? Now that I'm testing out the configuration here. Well, I think I'm just gonna pull a board out then. Let's take a look at this one. How does this look for fun? Oh, let me fix it so it doesn't slide around here. This is the SKR Pro version 1.2. As you can see, it's got lots of different power ports. That's why I was changing the power, as you can see. But I'm going to see if I can figure out how to program it without having to take out the USB eventually. But let's see if it actually shows up. So it shows that the USB is plugged in, but doesn't show the USB. So we're going to move this over and see what happens. That's a good sign. Let's see if it actually pops a drive. And it shows up, or at least something shows up. Whoop, that's a different drive. Bonjour, ça va? Ça va bien here? Sorry. I know everybody doesn't speak French, nor do I. Right now I'm just trying to understand how to use restream with multiple scenes in OBS. That's why it looks, that's good. So that you can see what's going on. That's why I'm basically just jumping through scenes. Make sure that everyone can see everything. Let's see if this actually connects. No, it doesn't want to connect, so I'm going to go to my device manager and see if I can see it. So it's probably on port 9. See what happens here. There we go. So at least it sees it. Of course, you're not going to see anything for temperature because nothing's hooked up. But I'm going to test some of the end stops real quick on 5 volts. So we're going to go with the default. I believe it's X minimum, otherwise I have to check it. It's not lighting up, so it might be that I have it plugged in backwards. I want to accidentally fry this board, so let me check to see what the actual pinouts are before I actually cook something. I thought about doing rep wrap, but Marlin seems to be more up to date of firmware. So that's one of the reasons that I've stuck with it for so long, is that the development of it is kind of large, meaning there's a huge group of people working on it. But let's see if I can find the Big Tree Tech SKR Pro version 1.2, and it's on GitHub. Trying to find the pinout diagram. And let's see if we can find it here. Well, let's start with the manual. That's probably a good place to start, but let's see what we have here. Sorry, I like to scroll through it kind of quick because there's not a lot of information that's relevant for what I'm looking for initially. Here we go. Got the end stops or limiting switches. And then we have the pinout diagram that's not very clear, but looks like voltage is on top, ground is in the center. So, in theory, that should work. So let's see what it says in here. Sorry, I was looking over here. If you didn't realize what I was talking about, I actually looked up the pinout diagram. So now I'm going to actually test with an M119 to see what happens. So it looks like nothing is showing up. So I'm going to click the end stop and hopefully not cook anything. And then do it again. and nothing shows up. So it might be that I'm disconnected. Let's see what it says over here. So the minimum's actually below, that's why it's not showing up. Not really supposed to do this while it's powered up, by the way. But seeing how I've got too many of these boards, I'm not too worried. So now I'm going to actually test this again. I'm going to do M119, but let me show you where I am. So I'm working with this. I'm going to do the switch in a second, which will click on and off. Looks like I got it connected correctly, so I'm going to go over to Interface, and with it not clicked, I'm going to check the actual send command. So now I'm going to click it and do the send command again, and now it says open, so the logic is backwards. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you in a second. I'm actually talking about in here, but first I want to get to actually setting up this board real quick. So I'm going to search on Pro. Make sure that you actually can see what I'm talking about here. So right now I'm in VS Code, and I'm going to search on the SKR Pro. So it's 1.2, so I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to close out a source. I'm going to go to configuration.h. I'm going to do a search on motherboard. This is so I can set it up. I'm going to paste it right here. And then I'm going to set the serial port to -1. I know this probably will not load, but I need to actually go back and check a couple things here, because normally it's more fluid when I'm doing a tutorial. This is the actual board type, so we need to find that in platformio.ini, because right now we're set to a Mega 2560 for our default environment. That's our chipset. So I'm going to do a search on SKR_Pro, and there should only be technically one. There might be two. And it does say there's a second here in the list, but let's see if it's just, okay, so it's the same exact thing. So I'm just going to copy this for the environment. Then I'm going to scroll all the way back up and paste it here. This is so I can set up an actual compile, so I can check it by hitting the checkbox, which a lot of people call build. Build and compile are essentially the same thing, except build might be several different compiles. Right now it's pulling down the information to actually build it. So this isn't going to try and upload to the actual board yet. I'm going to try that next, which is this. This is, well, it's called upload. Let me bounce back to the chat, see if you can understand what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the live stream works. I'm trying to live stream on both Twitch and on YouTube to see if it works. And basically, I'm setting up OBS so that it's easier for me to work with and for you to see. That's why I keep scrolling through different scenes. But let me go back to where I was in VS Code. Right now, as you can see, can you see the whole screen, or can you only see part of it? Because my view might be different from your view. See if I can see the stats. Wow. Apparently I don't have my Twitch set up right, but hopefully I'll get that figured out. So let's check on this compile here. So it looks like it's still building. At least that's what IntelliSense says. Sometimes the way around this, if it's taking forever, is to actually do another build. Of course, it's not going to let me, so I'm going to skip that for now and let it do what it's doing. Platform IO IntelliSense Index Rebuild. Interesting. Most of the time I don't do live streams because lots of things go wrong. And as you can see right now, I'm having an issue with VS Code. I haven't built platform IO with the SKR Pro in a long time. So a lot of this is working out the bugs before I actually do another tutorial on this. Michael, are you able to upload your firmware directly to your board? Or do you have to still swap with a SD card? Hmm. I'm restarting the task first to see if there's anything else wrong. Okay, looks like I was able to get it to fail. So let me do a clean. And then a rebuild. I think it actually wants me to close and restart Platform IO. Oh, maybe not. Oh, it looks like it's building now. Yeah, I have that board as well, the BTT002 version 1. I don't think they call it an SKR, but let me see if I've got it right here. Actually might be in the other room. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look in the other room for that one. Yeah, I don't think direct upload works unless you have the special cabling for it. I think that's called... Well, I can't see the cable here, but either 4 or 5 pins you need to connect to, and then you can flash it. That's usually used in the factory. But let me check on the compile here. Oh, still going. Let me see if I can find the other board. Well, let's see what we got here. Did I hit upload and not know it? I think this is the board you're talking about. I haven't worked with it yet. I mostly do just printers. The only reason is because I live in an apartment with people around me, so I don't want to make too much noise with the CNC machine. When I get a house, I'll probably do a CNC or two. Although someone's already asked me to do a pick and place, which a little advanced. And seeing how I don't need to make boards at home, it's probably not worth it. There's the BTT. I don't know if you can see it in the frame. Let me look. Yeah, it's at the very top of the frame. There you go. See what's going on over here. Oh, it actually built this time. It only took 3 tries. So I'm going to see if I can do an upload. I know it's probably not going to work. Yep, it's probably not going to work. The only reason I say that is because I can't see the actual drive. So I know it's probably not going to work. That, and I'm probably logged into it, so it would probably not work either. So let me log out of it. Just me running general tests right now to see if I can figure out what's going on with this board. So it looks like I need to use an actual drive for this, so unplug it, pop this out, put in the adapter, Adapters don't work too well when you have another adapter. Another SD. Okay, let me see if I can copy this over. I don't know how much of this process you're going to be able to see. Basically, I'm going to go to .pio, build, SKR Pro, then I'm going to do reveal in Explorer. Well, reveal in Explorer. And then I'm going to pull the copy off there and send it to my SD card. Then I'm going to pop out the SD card. And I'm going to put it back into the SKR 1.2. I'm then going to power the SKR 1.2 with the USB cable. And that should load the firmware. So the next step is to see if I can actually connect in Pronterface, which I'll show you in 2 seconds. So it looks like it's connecting. That's good. Now I'm going to try the M119 again. Apparently I got the logic backwards still. Check it. See if it's still connected. It is. So now I'll fix the logic for these. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. In VS Code, I'm going to go to configuration.h. I'm going to do a search on NStop. And the whole issue right now with my end stops has to do with the actual logic not being flipped correctly. So true. I don't know if I'm going to use the same one for the other ones, so I'm just going to recompile. This may take a moment. While that's going on, I'm going to flip over to the workbench for a second, unplug it, pop out the drive, put it in the adapter, drop it in the computer, and then see what's going on in VS Code. And VS Code is still compiling. Well, it would be an option to run my CNC in my apartment like that if I didn't have neighbors. But right now I'm searching for a house, so hopefully I can do that sooner or later with CNC. What's S3D? Is that a software or is that a hardware? It'll actually connect via the COM port, if that's what you're talking about. But you won't see the SD or USB drive. I believe it's missing, there's a chip you can buy and then integrate in that'll allow it to connect. I just haven't used it. But let's see what we got here. So it finished compiling. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy it back over again. See if I can do a send to here. Probably not. Let me jump over to the drive and see if I can drop it on. Huh, doesn't like that. So I guess I have to go the other way. Okay, just copied it back over to the drive again. We go back to the workbench here. Drop this back in. Hopefully this will fix the USB drive issue. Just clean things up here. Try reconnecting. Okay, M119 says triggered. That's not good. Trigger it. Huh. Apparently I'm copying something wrong, so let me go back into VS Code and see what's going on here. It says that I just built it 2 minutes ago. Let me flip this so you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm in VS Code. I thought I was inverting the logic of the end stop. Apparently I'm not. That's super weird. So let me do a couple here just to make sure, even though I know it's X minimum. I'm gonna change this back to false, and I'll just cycle through them. I'm gonna rebuild that. Something's logically wrong. Yeah, it'll see, Mike, the Windows operating system will allow you to see, like in Device Manager. Here, I'll show you real quick. Let me add a scene here real quick. I just gotta copy some things here. Gotta make it so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm on Device Manager. Inside Device Manager, the actual port for this is this one right here. If I disconnect it for a second, I'll show you what happens. It goes away. If I reconnect it, it shows back up. So I know I have the COM port. The issue is there's something going on with the drivers, maybe? And there's also probably missing hardware on the actual device that allows you to communicate. So that makes it kind of difficult to work with. No, I haven't tried auto build for VS Code yet. Haven't had a time to actually look into it. I've been spending a lot of my time this week recording tutorials on other boards that I still haven't finished editing and translating, so those hopefully will be out within the next couple of days. I'll start rolling them out. But what boards do most people like to work with? You guys want to chime in and say what your favorite 3D printer board is? Huh. Apparently I've got you stuck on a different transition here. Is this still stuck on Device Manager in your view? I think you can still do dual end step on an SKR 1.4. Oh, it's stuck on host? Hang on, let me see if I can delete Device Manager. That's so weird. I don't understand why it's stuck on a screen. Hang on, I'll stop and restart the stream and see if that fixes it. Oh, it's